What time is it? What time is it? Huh? Good morning, everyone. This is State Treasurer Dale Falwell. I'd like to welcome all of you to the 94th consecutive Ask Me Anything that we've held at the Treasurer's office since I've been the keeper of the public purse. And a little bit of humor this morning. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. When we have these Ask Me Anything calls, there's a leaf blower outside of our door. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is, there's a leaf blower out there blowing leaves or blowing something. So appreciate all of you joining us. We got lots to talk about today, but the media advisory talked about Blue Cross Blue Shield, our letter to them asking for $2 million of repayment for the lawsuit, the Sue Till They're Blue strategy that they had after losing the third-party administrative contract as voted on by the State Health Plan Board of Trustees. Today, a couple of other events happening today, as I've mentioned to many of you regarding transition. For the last 2 months, both Republican and Democrat candidate Representative Harris and Treasurer-elect Briner have been invited to every meeting that I've chaired. They have attended when they could, either in person or virtually. And then Treasurer-elect Briner is coming in today to meet some of the senior staff, and we'll be attending more of the few meetings that I have left to chair between now and the end of my term. So we're doing exactly what we said we would do. Frank Lester, Deputy Treasurer for the state of North Carolina, has been leading up a transition team which involves signage and printed material and website design and 150 other things I haven't thought of this morning about things that happen when you change over the keep of the public purse. With that, I'll jump right into questions about today's Ask Me Anything. Raise your hand if you have a question. Ray, you have a question? Bill, go ahead. Unmute, Bill. Bill, you're muted. We'll go to AP and come back. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
Can you hear me now, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. I was wondering about your letter and why Blue Cross Blue Shield would even consider paying this legal fee. They've already lost a major contract to the state. I can't imagine they would want to give us more money. Explain your reasons behind why you think Blue Cross should be paying the state of North Carolina $2 million.
Well, number one, you don't get what you don't ask for. I think when you're the keeper of the public purse and you're watching the pennies and the paper clips, you have a responsibility to collect any money that you think is owed to you. We had a conference call. I was a part of that conference call after this third-party administrative contract was awarded to Aetna many months ago. On that call was CEO Tunde Satunde, as well as the chairman of the board of Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I thought there was a good conversation, and an understanding that we have been married to Blue Cross Blue Shield for nearly 5 decades, and that for the length of the remainder of their current contract, that they would that we would all agree just to finish strong. That was met just a few days, if not weeks later, by this major lawsuit where we had to go out and retain outside counsel, which has not only cost us thousands of hours of staff time, but also, legal expenses. I have no idea how Blue Cross is going to respond to this. They have been unpredictable since losing this contract in terms of their response. One of you would have to fact check this, but since the State Health Plan Board made the decision to change this to Blue Cross Blue Shield, since that decision was made, BB&T Truist, the second biggest customer, transferred to Aetna, as well as I believe the League of Municipalities and the County Commissioner Association. Some of those big group purchases are also going to Aetna. And I also want to add that the one thing I want you to fact check is I'm not sure they sued any of those other people for taking their business away from Blue Cross Blue Shield into Aetna. So that's why I've sent the letter.
Could I have a follow-up, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, I'll tighten it up. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I would wonder that would Blue Cross Blue Shield not have been somehow irresponsible to not fight and do everything it could to maintain that contract?
We wish that Blue Cross Blue Shield would have put as much fight into serving us over the years and put as much fight into possibly their application as they had this court battle. And the second answer to your question is that once the judge's ruling, the ALJ's ruling came down, they chose not to appeal. So the fact is that they thought that this was the path to proceed. And as you know, we were in the 7th inning of the rollout of this contract. We were just, when this judge ruling came out, we were just a few months away from open enrollment. And so this lawsuit and even the threat of it being overturned had the potential of creating a tremendous amount of uncertainty for those that teach, protect, and otherwise serve. Follow up, Bill?
I do, but it was off subject, so I'd let other reporters jump in if they had something on Blue Cross.
Okay. AP?
Good morning, Treasurer. Thank you for taking my call. Quick questions on the Blue Cross Blue Shield thing. If you get a response that they're not accepting the $2 million request, do you think that there'll be legal proceedings to try to obtain that or recoup that back? And number two, you had talked about the transition with Brad Briner coming in. I was wondering if you could
Yeah, you faded out. Our legal team will be advising me if they do not respond to this letter by the timeline that we gave them about what our next steps are. Number one. Number two, I do want to report, since we talked about open enrollment a few moments ago, I was ecstatic about how many people that we had go through open enrollment and how well that went, given the complexity of our state health plan. Number three, Treasurer-elect Briner, as I said earlier, will be in the building today and meeting with senior staff and getting to know the operation. Anything else?
Yep, just one more thing. Coming up with the LGC today, I see that Cabarrus has sort of a split request thing going on here, where it looks like they've provided some documentation for the request that they're making and no documentation for the others, which would put it on hold. Could you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah, the LGC staff, this is a request by the county to split these applications. So the LGC staff considered these separately at the request of Cabarrus County. One is what I'll call is cured in terms of the proper documentation is in an effort for our staff to give that a thumbs up. And the other part, the information is still not there. And for that, staff is not going to be recommending the second part at this time. So nearly, I believe it was 9 or out of the 12 projects that had come before us. As we know, as staff's going to be recommending approval of that and not recommending the approval of the other until the other projects, until the rest of the information comes in. But this was a Cabarrus County request to split this application. Anything else? AP, we also have the Project Arrow on the agenda today. That's the over $1 billion titanium project in Cumberland County. And that is a separate item, as well as Centennial, the refurbishing of the Lenovo Center. And that's also on the agenda as a separate item also. Okay, Bill?
Sir, to be clear, you have not ruled out a legal option. And is this something you plan to discuss with the incoming treasurer about pursuing? Because obviously this would go beyond your term of office.
Sure. I have a big stack. Some of you have seen my office. I have a big stack, and now the biggest stack is called Next Treasurer. So in that stack are different folders associated with state health plan, all of our major divisions at the treasurer's office, things that they're going to be dealing with over the next, that he'll be dealing with, especially over the next 12 months. And one of those files, Bill, is the legal file, which talks about this, but not only this, but many, many other legal situations that we're currently involved in that are going to transfer to the next treasurer. And just a little bit of a sidebar, Bill. You know, we're still dealing with the Lake case. I mean, the Lake case was filed under the two previous treasurers, at least Treasurer Cowell. So it's not unusual for there to be a transfer of legal matters when you're managing a $250 billion, which is amount of money 8 times larger than the state budget. So that's going to be part of the file that we'll be going over with the next treasurer. And we will be not only taking advice from our legal team about how to pursue this if we get no response, but in addition to that, as you would expect, we're going to be doing a closeout audit. We do this with every major vendor that we have, a closeout audit to true up, to make sure that there's not recapture or other monies that may be owed to the state health plan. And that closeout audit will be taking place next year also.
And follow up, sir?
Yes, of course.
If you could, would you address what your future plans may be, and will they include politics?
Yeah, my future plans right now are remain centered on fixing things and saving money. And I want God and my family and friends and my motorcycles to all be happy with me. So in that order. You know, I've been in Raleigh, as you know, Bill, 20 years, public service, 28 years. And there's a lot that needs to be saved and a lot that needs to be fixed. And that's where my focus is right now. Okay. Other questions? Raise your hand if you have a question. Okay. Okay. Hearing no further questions, we have a TAC committee meeting at 1 o'clock today, which should only last 7 or 8 minutes typically. The local government commission, which you can join in remotely, starts at 1:30. And as I said earlier, we have our consent agenda. We're also going to talk about some of our troubled units that you've been hearing about, for example, Pilot Mountain, North Carolina, and some other troubled units. In addition to that, as not part of the consent agenda, we'll be considering the Cabarrus County, 2 applications from Cabarrus County as requested by Cabarrus County, as well as Centennial Authority, otherwise known as the Lenovo Center, and the Project Arrow, which is the titanium plant in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We'll have one more AMA after this. even if we have to pay the leaf blower to come out, I want to make sure they're blowing the leaves because they're always out there with the leaf blower every time we do an AMA. But there'll be one more after this, and I appreciate all the interest that y'all have shown. I appreciate staff making this jump up on the table. It's kind of evolved to this type of system when most of you had complete frustration in signing on to council of state meetings due to logins and other kinds of things. We made a decision to kind of make this more seamless for you, and we appreciate your questions over the years, and I'll have more to say about this next month. With that, we appreciate you joining us. And if you have any further follow-up, please reach out to the comms department. We'll be available to you.